Hey guys, what's up? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and unfortunately I don't have all the Avengers figures yet, but this is the last one I have. This is the 6-inch Thor from the Studio line. He's not perfectly straight up, but right now he stands almost 7 inches tall, so he's good size. The biggest problem with this guy is he's almost completely a repacked figure from the first batch of Thor figures. He's got the new head, but special guest starring Thor from the first Thor figure. Here he is. Let's compare them. The torso is almost identical. Paint app is almost the exact same paint for the torsos. The cape is almost the exact same cape. The older one has a little bit more shading, so that looks better, I think. A little bit of shading on there. Like I said, the torso is just about exactly the same. The legs, same exact mold. The old one has the glossy boots and a little bit more shading here in the knee pads. So I'm gonna have to give the advantage to the glossy one. The red's a little bit darker as well. So the older one looks better in the legs. The arms, let's look at the arms. The arms on the new one, almost no shading, if any at all. The arms on the old one, lots of awesome shading. Looks great. More metallic paint. This is just molded metallic gray. The red on the new one is lighter. The red on the old one is darker. Definitely going to give this win to the older one. The shading and the red just looks way better than the lack of shading on this one and the red. This one's cape isn't glued on quite squarely. If you look at the little edges there, that's probably just a defect mine happened to have, no big deal, but it is the situation. Let's compare the hammers real quick. This is the old one, has some nice shading on there, nice silver paint job. This is the new one. It's darker by a lot, still has some nice shading. Different handle, it looks like. Yeah, different handle. This time, you could go either way with the hammer. I like the silver one better, I like the hammer handle on this one better, and I do like the dark part too. So the hammer goes either way, that's a preference. But overall, the old figure looks better, I think, than the new one. Definitely just overall better looking figure. Now let's talk about the head sculpts. Everybody disliked the old one because of the face didn't look quite right and the helmet was almost like gunmetal gray, not shiny, not cool looking. So this time we get Thor without the helmet. Face is a tiny bit better but still looks kind of weird. And the hair looks kind of weird. I think the hair would look better if the face did. So maybe if his eyes weren't so close together and his nose wasn't quite so big, he'd look a little bit better. But it's not perfect. It's not bad though. Now the biggest complaint I have, aside from it being the same exact figure but not as good, is he shouldn't have sleeves. He only had sleeves, I don't want to spoil it, but the majority of the time he didn't have sleeves. I won't say anything else other than that in the movie. So I kind of wish he didn't have sleeves there. Other than all that stuff, let's talk about the figure. Articulation wise, it's on that kind of joint. So it has some forward back movement, but due to the hair, it's very limited. You can only get a little bit forward, not too much back. And it does rotate. It's not a bad sculpt overall, it just doesn't look quite right. Shoulders, standard ball disc shoulders, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, wrist rotation. There you have it. Torso joint, not bad, not great. Goes forward and back, almost no forward, a lot more back. And some side to side. The side to side I do like, most figures don't have that, but the lack of being able to go forward is kind of not good. He's got the wide jointed hips. So you can actually kind of see the peg going in there. It goes up at an angle instead of to the side. So you have to turn them a little bit to get the legs to go forward, but they do work. The thigh swivel is built in. This joint, I was talking about on Captain America, how they make that crotch piece look weird by making it so long. I know that sounds bad, but you get what I'm saying. This piece is really long here, and it just kind of looks like he's wearing a Speedo. On Thor, it's a lot shorter, but that also looks weird in its own right. I much rather have... Do I have a figure like that somewhere? Let's look at this one, for example. That looks way more natural than that. So instead of trying to figure out a way to explain it without sounding weird, I'll just show that's how it should look, that's how it does look. That's just my opinion though. Some people think this is fine. No big deal. Double jointed knees, the armor is part of the shin, so that's a nice touch. Decent sculpt work still, same sculpt as before, so it's not bad, it's just not perfect. He's got the disc hinge in the ankle, and that rotates. No ankle rocker. So he's not a bad figure by any means. He is mostly a repack, and one that's not quite as good at that. He comes with the base that they all come with. Watch the Iron Man review that I just did to see why I don't care for these, but they're not bad. It's better than nothing, I guess. Thor's not bad, but like I said, he could be definitely better, especially since he's a repack. So there he is, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the rest of my reviews, and in the meantime, keep collecting.